Be yourself. Talk to me. Tell me how much you love.
Let's record. Started already.
Okay, hello. If you stumbled on this video somehow, you are welcome. I cannot say this is a YouTube channel, but either ways, we decided to create this video. My name is Lola Gold, by the way, and you are?
My name is Yinka. Yinka Gold.
Okay, so we are not siblings. We are married, and we decided to create this video after 10 years of friendship because we thought we learned a little bit of some things, and we're going to share with you. So grab your popcorn and get ready for juicy details or juicy story. Okay, so babe, tell us about yourself.
Myself, and I.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a child of God. I love God. I love music as well.
Yeah.
And I play a little bit of instruments, the bass and the piano. And I also sing as well when the need arises.
He sings.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing to know about me. Forget about me. Now, let's talk about us, how we met, the juicy details. We met 2011. No, we met 2011, or we started dating Nigerian way 2011. But I met him 2010. I met him 2010 December. And then I was invited to a Christ Embassy church. And then I saw him there. I'm like, oh, this guy is fine. That was all, nothing more. I didn't talk to him. And then fortunately for us, we met again 2011 March. So what happened March?
Yeah, we just met 2011 March. And she joined the choir, and that was just how it all started. And we had an all-night rehearsal. We met, then we spoke at length.
No, what happened the first day we met?
The very first day we
after
met.
the service.
Okay, yeah, after the service, well, I told her to join the choir. And of course, normal thing like...
Because he was feeling the baby.
Yeah, normal thing like everybody wants to recruit people to their department. So I wanted her to join the choir, and she agreed. And well, I guess the response was so instant.
When you met me, what was the first thing you said?
I just introduced myself to you.
He was like, hi, my name is Yinka Gold. I'm like, what's gold?
I introduced myself, and I just realized the way she was in awe when I mentioned
No,
my
I was
name.
like, whose surname is Gold? Okay, so he met my friend and myself. Lola Day, by the way, shout out to you if you are watching this video. So he met Lola Day and myself, and then introduced himself. And then the next time we saw was going to be an all-night rehearsal. He collected my number and never called me until the all-night rehearsals. And then we had a really long talk. What happened?
Well, yeah, we spoke at length that night, and I think I was just fascinated by intelligence, and
Oh
of course at that point she was really young. She's still young though. Anyways, but compared to now, she was quite young, and I was fascinated by the kind of words she was speaking. It was something so thrilling to me, and that just really got me interested. I couldn't stop thinking about the conversation with
Interested in what? What were you interested in?
I was just interested in you.
You know, I can shout. Okay. So I'll not talk too much. So
coupled with the fact that there were lots of green lights already from the conversation, but I'm not going to say that.
I didn't turn on any green light. So basically, we had a conversation. It was quite good. He was such a fun person to speak with. And after that, this part is the juicy part. Then we went home after the rehearsals. Of course, it was a video. And then I got a message out of the blues. Oh, I've never spoken to anybody. Nobody has ever made me feel this way since I've been in this school. By the way, we attended the same university. At this time, I was 16. I was 16 years old. And then he told me that, oh, I've never met anybody like you and all that. And then what happened after the all-night rehearsals?
Yeah, I think when I woke up after the rehearsal on that Saturday morning, I sent you an SMS.
What was going through your mind when you were sending that?
I mean, it just felt like, it felt so different because prior to that time, I've actually met a couple of ladies. Well, not so much, but there were one issues or the other like that is kind of like being in between most times when I meet these ladies. So when I spoke to you, it was quite different. Like everything was so different. So it felt more like, wow.
Love at first discussion. Okay, so fast forward, we started to exchange text messages. So our conversation started from a text message. So we started to exchange text messages day in, day out, evening, morning, night. We're just friends from like March to like sometimes in May. So sometimes in May, he was a level ahead of me. So level means 100 level, 200. If you school in Nigeria, it was like in 300 level, I was in 200 level, and then he called me after exams and he wanted to see me. You know, he was my friend. I saw him as my friend. I wasn't really catching feelings like that. I wasn't catching feelings so strongly. So it was my friend. So he said he wanted to see me in his house. I went to his house. And then I got there, gave me a chair to sit. He sat on the bed, I sat on the chair, and he was like, he wanted to tell me something. And guys what he told me? He said, I love you. Immediately he told me, I just want to. He was so shy and so timid. He was like almost shaking. You were really shaking. So, you know.
Well, I wasn't. Well,
you were.
I wasn't. Well, let me say, I think one thing you missed out was it wasn't after exams. It was before.
Exams were over, but for me, I had like one paper.
Yeah, I think it was before exams. At least, it was in that period. So we still had a time left because I remember it took you about a month and 16 days.
To say yes.
So it was actually.
Wait, don't jump. Go little by little. So
yeah. So
after
it
you
was
told me
before
you
the
loved me,
exams.
what happened? What did I do in your room that day?
Well, you just stood up and you left. You said you were leaving.
Nollywood star. I just feel like, okay. And then what happened after that?
Yeah. Well, normally I just walked you down to
Our usual transformer. So we had
junction.
this junction we usually go to. Like we were friends before then, so we used to go to this junction. Like we were always taking walks. So he walked me to this junction that was really close to my house, and then he told me this. What did you tell me at the junction after he told me you love me? And I didn't say anything.
Well, I just said like I think when we got to that junction, as I was about to depart, because that junction is more like I
Like
walk
a
out down to that place.
departure-
Yeah, like a place of
departation.
departure. So like I walk out to that place, she walks to her place, then I walk back home. So then before I left, I was like, well, you didn't say anything, but then I asked you, I said, okay, so what do you think about what I said? You said that exams are still on and you can't say anything now until after exams.
Because I was a serious-minded girl.
So I said, well, just assure me or promise me that once exam is over, you are going to make a decision.
He was so like me, like
I'm going to be your choice.
when you want to make the decision, I would like to be your choice. I'm like, no, as a fine girl. Okay, so. Fast forward to that, and then we left. He left me at the junction. I left and I went home. And then when I got home, I just saw this mysterious text message. That text message thing is like epic on my phone. And then apparently he wanted to. Okay, babe, tell them about the text message.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say I shot myself in the leg with the message.
Yeah,
but
he did.
It kind of like assisted made my work more easier. I had a very close friend then, and we're still very close friends. Shout out to Yomi, by the way, my very cool friend then, and he was aware of every of my move. Like he knew that I was into this babe and stuff like that. So that night, before she came to my place, I already told my friend that I was going to tell her how I feel about her and
Who
things like
asked
that.
a girl out by saying I love you?
And so so when I got back that night, my friend was already expecting the response, like, just to find out what exactly happened.
Yeah.
So while I got home, I don't know, I think I felt this so much excitement. When I just said, like, assure me, like, when you make your decision, I'm going to be your choice. I felt this very positive response like that. So out of excitement, I go back home and I picked up my phone to send an SMS
To Oriomi.
So fortunately,
He sent it to me.
I sent it to her. But the content of the message wasn't bad. I think that was just
No, the content of the message was like, guy, I finally said it. Something like that.
Yeah, I was like, guy, I finally said it, that I really hope that she makes the right decision.
Yeah.
That I really love her so much, and you know how much I love
Yeah,
this
he
babe.
said that.
So
Okay, babe, I want to ask you one question. So then, as at that time, I was already catching vibe or feelings or whatever they call it. But Lolade then already told me, this guy is a cool. I'm not even sure Lolade can remember this. It was like, oh, this guy is a cool guy. He was really cool, gentle, good looking.
yeah.
So, and all that. So I was like, oh, the guy is a cool guy and all that. Then that text message kind of triggered a different thing inside of me. Like I just felt like, oh, this guy really knows what he wants and all of that. So he gave me a different mindset. But babe, looking back now to this 10 years later, you told me you loved me. Like now that you understand the definition of love, because we are Christians, we believe in Jesus. So now that you understand the definition of love, would you say you really loved me then?
Well, I would say I was certain about what I felt.
Did you love
back
me?
then? Of course, I loved you, and I still love you.
Oh.
And well, back then I would say I love you, but I never really understood well enough what love meant.
Yeah.
maybe I said it not out of ignorance, but out of the fact that I was still naive about the whole concept of love.
Yeah.
So,
But what were you feeling? Was it like a feeling? Was it like an
no,
assurance?
it was more like a conviction within. I would say, even though I was
yeah.
young, I would say even though I was young then, I was still convinced. I was still convinced within me that I really loved you then, and I just wanted you, and that was just it.
Oh, he wanted
But
me.
of course, I grew into loving you more.
Yeah. So we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Let's hold it there.
So I would say like the fundamental was love. It wasn't lust. It wasn't obsession. It wasn't infatuation. The fundamental remains that it was love, but I grew more in it.
So did you have any girl in your life at this time you felt the same way about? Was it like, oh, you felt the same way about 10 girls at the same time?
You mean back then?
Yeah, was it just only me that you had this? Because he was obviously handsome. He played the guitar, so he's in a place in church where you can actually see him. So I'm sure maybe you had some friends that were around. Did you feel any way about any other girl at that time?
Well, not really. I didn't. Of course, I had a crush then, which you know
Crush.
about.
So can you differentiate the feeling of that crush? This is for your lesson. The feeling of crush and the feeling you had towards me. Like, can you say it's a feeling? Was it the same thing?
Yeah, it wasn't the same because for the crush, it was just someone I admired from a distance. We never really had a face-to-face or a close contact.
So was
discussion.
it feeling the same?
It wasn't the same. So I mean, that's what I'm trying to say right now. Like, what makes the difference is the fact that we had a discussion, and then that spiced or that was just that sparked something inside of me, as compared to the crush I was just having from a distance. I never really understood what it meant or everything. I just admired that person, but I didn't get to have this chance to talk with her like that could trigger something on the inside of me.
Okay, so at that point you saw some, even though you were not matured enough, you said you loved me, you felt something, right? There was a feeling, so to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast track to 2011. So 2011, after 1 month and 16 days, I came back to his room. Okay, as at this time, I told myself I was not going to go into any other relationship anymore. I'd already been in like 4 relationships before I was 16 years old. So if we just like okay, so after that I said I wasn't going to go to any relationship until I was more matured, at least 18. But somehow I just said yes without thinking. I said yes not because I felt like, oh, I needed to have a boyfriend. I said yes because I felt really safe. I really did not understand what I was doing like completely, but I felt safe. Wow. I felt like this guy had good values. Like, he was somebody who was really focused in school. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't going around with girls. He wasn't drinking. He wasn't smoking. He was serious with God to some extent, at least then. So I felt, oh, this guy is good. Let me just like stay with him. So then I just made the decision like that. I just said yes. I came to his room and I told him yes. And then, guys, something happened. So immediately after I said yes, what happened to us? When the journey started? Can you remember?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we went on 3 months break because then, like we mentioned before, exam was on or exam was about to start. So when she came back, exam was over and it was time for everybody to go home. Normally, like, second semester was over.
Yeah.
So that was how the journey started.
The journey of distance.
So she said yes, and I think maybe a day or 2 days afterwards, we had to all go home.
Yeah.
So
guys, this is what happened. Our distance began. So this was like the very beginning of challenges, so to say, because it was an adventure. So we started 3 months distance. So during this distance, normal relationship would go on dates, go on walks. We were just our conversation was mostly on the phone. We did night calls like crazy. We were like in contact like 247. We used every platform. We sent text messages like really, really good. So we got to know each other.
Amazingly, like you know, we could probably just end the conversation right now, and the next thing that will follow is a text message.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, I mean, we just finished the conversation, like, you know, like, I can't just wait to hear from you again. I mean,
was it butterflies in your tummy?
I would say I was not drunk. Seriously, like, I mean, it was all over. Like, I couldn't really think straight. Everything was just about you.
Oh my God.
I want to pick up my phone to call. I was always having this airtime reserved for night call.
Yeah.
That was constant. And even if probably maybe, I think you used to use your mom's Glow.
Yeah, to call.
Okay. My mom uses an MTN line or thereabout.
It was Glow, so Glow was doing free calls.
Yeah, so any line that works.
So that was how my mom got to know about.
Is either I use my mom's line or we just use a network that clicks
works
at that night,
yeah,
and then that's just how the conversation continues. And we'll speak from 12 till 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it was so crazy. And the funny thing is that we weren't speaking anything, we were just speaking about each other, learning each other. It was like we had ample time to really talk. We spoke a lot about everything, what we wanted, who we were, and all of that stuff. Even though, bear in mind at this time I was still growing, I was 16 going on 17, and you were 20 going on 21. So we really didn't have much knowledge of what we were doing, but at that time we had a little bit of foundation because we were born again. So it was like really different for us. We had lots of discussion. We discussed, we're just talking, like we really spoke.
Absolutely.
And then it built our intimacy, our closeness. So then 3 months, remember 3 month break? We visited maybe once or twice during those 3 months.
Yeah, I think it was just twice.
And then guys, you'd have thought that we'll come back to school now and then we'll continue the relationship. The distance continued because why? He had to go on IT.
Yeah, I had to go on this internship for about 6 months.
6 months, sorry. IT means internship. Like you have to do like an internship in Nigeria at some point. So when you had to go for internship, and I was in school.
Yeah.
So it means that the distance continued, right?
Yeah, the distance continued. I went for internship for 6 months.
That was 400 level, and I was in 300 level.
Yeah.
And then what happened when I got to 400 level and you were in 500 level?
Then you also had to go for.
I had to go for my own internship for 1 whole year. So it was like from distance to distance. But guess what? We kept the spark by communication. So
Yeah.
So what do you like to say to people who are just starting to know each other? Maybe they don't even have any butterflies. Because for me, it was obvious that he was love drunk. I was not yet at the same level that it was. Sincerely, babe, I wasn't there.
Okay.
It was okay. I wasn't there, but the more I got to know him, the more we had this conversation. I was getting there. It was like I got to know his person. So it was just like maybe I was just catching feelings. So the more I knew him, the more I actually fell in love with the kind of person he was. So I would like to say that communication is key. You have to like communicate,
and it has to be it has to be a reasonable communication.
Yeah,
of course.
reasonable.
And there might be communications that would definitely, you can always speak about so many things, but always ensure that you have reasonable communications that would help you know each other more, because at that point it's just it's a time of getting to understand each other better. So if you don't address the very important things, you probably miss out. You realize you've been speaking about irrelevant things, and when it's time to really get to really know each other very well, you find out like you've not even known anything about the person.
So you rather be talking about, I just love the way your eyes sparkles. Yeah. I love the way your nose is pointing.
No. All of those are quite essential, but never leave the part of the very, very key of you getting to understand each other. Because
it's at that point you'll be able to figure out the standards of this person, the value of this person. So in Nigerian term, they call it dating. But normally it's called dating all around the world, getting to know the person. But at that time, we're not only dating, we're already in a relationship. So while in the relationship, we were dating in American style, not Nigerian style of dating. So we're dating, getting to know each other. And then what happened next year, 2013 was when I went for my FPY. FPY is like an internship for me for 1 whole year. We're not seeing still. That's the point. The point is that, but we kept communication. We're talking like almost every time. Then, babe, 2014. What happened 2014? We still have time to talk about it before we create a part 2. It's a very long G. So 10 years is not mouth. So 2014, what happened?
2014. I'd been processing traveling actually,
and you didn't tell me.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like I gave it as a secret, but
yeah.
Let me just give it a try. So eventually it worked out fine, and I was supposed to leave the country. So 2014 I was supposed to travel out to further my studies.
Yeah, I was in my final year then.
And then she was in her final year then. I think she was about rounding off when all of this pulled through. And so 2014 I left the country.
Yeah, you'd have thought that, okay, now that I'm in my final year and he's out of school, then maybe we'll have time to like be with each other.
Absolutely.
No, it didn't happen. On the contrary, we actually eventually had to go apart again. And this time it was huge. He was going to be out of the country. Like, out of the country. It's not out of the state. So it was quite difficult. I had a lot of people telling me a lot of things about, when people travel, they never come back, all of those stuffs and all that. But then you told me something. What did you tell me? Can you remember what you told me?
You mean at the airport?
Yeah, at the airport. So I saw him up to the airport. So prior to this time, he did something that was very wise, because that's what every focused man should do, I think. He introduced me to his parents. How did you say this is my girlfriend? How did you do this?
Yeah, well, I prior to that time, my mom had already been aware
Oh,
about
mom, I love you.
about who she is to me. Then at least she has seen her about maybe once or twice, and she definitely, moms always have a way of knowing
Yeah.
that this is my son's, you know.
Love her.
But
Love her.
my dad, then of blessed memory, never knew. So he asked me about it, and I said, he was like, after all, I've never met your girlfriend before or something. And I was like, oh really? So the next time she came around, I actually officially introduced her
Yeah, to that then.
to him. Then I was like, okay, this is my girlfriend. And like, so they were both aware, and they both
Yeah.
knew that she was the one I was dating.
Yeah. Even though it wasn't solid, there was nothing solid. So I think my mom got to know about it through my sister or through using her phone or something. The point
Yeah.
is that our parents knew that there was something going on. So
And I
we didn't-
visited your place also.
Yeah, he also
once.
visited us. So it wasn't like me. It wasn't like maybe we eat the relationship. I was like, oh, nobody must know. So it was like everybody knew he was traveling. When he was going to the airport, I followed him to the airport. As per route, route. I followed him to the airport. And when I got to the airport, so what happened at the airport? Please tell all the juicy details about the airport.
Oh, well, I think at the airport was the most touching
my
and the most
God.
emotional part of what has been happening in our relationship up to
Since-
that
yeah.
point. So she got really emotional, which was expected.
Did you get it? You also got emotional.
I got emotional, but I was strong enough at least to hold myself. And she got really emotional. She cried, and then I think she gave me 2 books. Then dating, the books were about dating.
You still have the book.
I do. I still have the books. So she gave me the book. She gave me those 2 books, and she was crying. But I told her something very,
Yeah.
very key.
Key.
I said, I'm gonna come back for you.
Yeah, you
No
said
matter
that.
what happens, I'm gonna come back for you.
Eat it.
And so the statement wasn't from a place of emotion, wasn't from a place of I'm just saying, it was from a place of assurance, because
Yeah.
I knew that as long as the Lord liveth, I was going to come back.
So we're going to come back to that assurance part. Then I'll talk about myself. So at that time, 2013, 2014, I was born again, but I was going through a bit of a growth as a person. Remember, I was young. We were both young. So I was going through like some kind of spiritual, I don't want to say spiritual growth because we're still growing spiritually. So a lot of things were happening in my life at that time. So I wasn't where he was when it comes to conviction. That's the truth. I wasn't there. I was just in a relationship. I wasn't really there. I liked him, but I wasn't there conviction wise. So at this time, I didn't even know how to hear God or know what God was saying. So I didn't know how to hear the voice of God. So, but I love God obviously, and I was born again. So, but I just immediately he traveled. I wasn't convinced. I wasn't convinced it was the one. Like it was the one I was supposed to marry. Yeah. I'm not sure I've ever told you this. Like I wasn't 100% convinced it was the one as at 2014 when he traveled. But because of my kind of person, I was willing to like whatever happens. I wasn't so worried about he's going to leave me or he's not going to leave me. Because remember I said I felt safe. So I was really safe with him. So fast forward to 2015. I went on service. Guys, this one is a very juicy detail. I went on service, and then what happened when I went on service? What happened to us?
2015.
What happened to us? Tell the world.
We broke up.
We broke up, guys. We broke up.
But I think you're gonna hear the next part of it.
Yeah, we
next
broke
video.
up. We actually did.
And you're gonna actually hear how it happened, what exactly went wrong, and how we came back together.
Yeah.
And of course, you definitely know we came back together because we are together now.
Yeah.
So how we came back together and how things got to be like, and what exactly happened to us in that space of time,
Yeah.
and how long it took us in our breakup.
Yeah.
You'll definitely find out in our new
You're so
video.
good at this.
Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it a lot.
Okay, hope to see you soon. Okay, bye.